to resist the headlong tumble into the next moment until we claim for ourselves awareness and gratitude. Taking the time to look into one another's faces and see communion. This house of laughter and silence, memory and hope, is hallowed by our presence together. So let's take some time for quiet reflection as we listen to the prelude by Julia Bady.
Good morning, and as we light the chalice, Suzanne will do that honor for us, and I will read our morning chalice. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other. We also have our congregational covenant, and we often will read that together. I don't know where it is. Here we go. It begins with, in this house, we covenant with one another to create a community built on a foundation of love, to work together to promote equality, justice, and peace, accepting responsibility for our individual acts, to stand on the side of love, embracing the liberation of oppressed minorities, and working to end discrimination and unjust privilege, to communicate with kindness and support, and to serve with compassion and commitment, to listen respectfully and value our diversity as a source of our collective strength, to learn and grow together generously sharing our time, talents, and treasures to celebrate the joys of discovery, from the wonder of youth to the wisdom of age, to openly share our laughter and our tears, showing reverence for the divine in all that is. Our offertory this morning is a fun hymn 134, but it is in your insert so that you can follow along. And it's going to be an electronic rendition of it because it is sung by the author.
Beautiful. You know, that song reminds me of an experience I had in Hawaii. You may not have heard this story, that when the Polynesians traveled across the ocean, following the winds and the lights of the heavens, and they came upon Hawaii, they knew something was there because they followed birds, and they knew birds would lead them to land. But when they discovered Hawaii and how beautiful it was and how fertile, they got back in their boats and paddled 2,300 miles back to Polynesia to get their families and their animals and their seeds. How is that for courage? Let's go back 2,300 miles following the winds and the currents and the birds. Isn't that just astounding? Well, anyway, the little side thought for this morning. That song was a beautiful reminder of what guides us. And this morning we are going to be focusing. This was one of the Sundays where we didn't have a planned minister visiting. And so we put our heads together, and recently a friend of mine had forwarded me online the encyclical that Pope Francis has sent out for this Christmas season, which you have a copy of in front of you now. And I want you just for a minute to ponder this young priest, Jorge Bergoglio, forming his character in his early priesthood, climbing the mountains, never imagining that one day he would be Pope, and that when he sat down to think about what he wanted to give back to the world, the whole world would be listening. And that's what we're going to do this morning in little Greenfield, Massachusetts. We're going to be listeners to what this Pope most wants to share with the world today. But before we go ahead with that, and we're going to do it, the three of us who are sharing the leadership this morning are going to share a reflection that we have from reading it. And then we're going to pass the microphone around as if it was Joys and Sorrows, and invite each one of you to share what word or phrase captured your energy, that made you want to say yes, that resonated for you in that message, so you can amplify it for us this morning. And of course, it'll be fine to pass if you want to. But before we begin this process, I'd like to just have us sing another hymn. Our World is One World, number 134. And you can stand or be seated as you wish. Our world is one. So we're going to begin by the three of us reading the full text, and then each of us are going to share a reflection, and then we're going to pass the mic to you. You can have flaws, be anxious, and even be angry.
But do not forget that your life is the greatest enterprise in the world.
Only you can stop it from failing.
You are appreciated, admired, and loved by so many.
Remember that being happy is not having a sky without a storm,
A road without accidents.
Work without effort.
a relationship without disappointments,
To be happy is to stop feeling like a victim and become the author of your own fate.
It's walking through deserts,
but being able to find an oasis deep in the soul.
It's thanking God every morning for the miracle of life.
it's kissing your children,
Cuddling your parents,
Having poetic moments with your friends.
even when they hurt us.
being happy is letting the creature that lives in each of us live free, joyful, and simple.
You have the maturity to be able to say, I made mistakes.
It's having the courage to say, I'm sorry.
It's
It's
having the sense to say, I need you. All right, well, it's having the ability to say, I love you.
May your life become a garden of opportunities for happiness.
That in the spring, you may be a lover of joy.
And in winter, a lover of wisdom.
And when you make a mistake, start over.
Because only then will you be in love with life.
You'll discover that being happy isn't having a perfect life.
But use fears to irrigate tolerance.
Use your defeats to train your patience.
Use your mistakes with the serenity of the sculptor.
Use pain to tune into pleasure.
Use obstacles to open the windows of intelligence.
Never give up.
Above all, never give up on the people that love you.
Never give up on being happy.
Because life is an incredible spectacle.
Pope Francis.
So what did resonate with me was having poetic moments with your friends. Some of you know that I've just been here not quite 2 years. And one of the real big reasons that I relocated here was friends. There's about 24 people who actually we've known each other since we were 15 and 19 and 20. And now, of course, we're way grown. Most are retired. And we're just having a hoot of a time because for most of them, it has felt, and I know you've had this experience too, like no time has passed at all. And it's just been a fabulous reunion every day, every week, every month. And the point about happiness is true for me. I am truly happy right now. So what I act on is this friendship. I want to keep these friendships. I want to make more friendships. And I want to be a solid, good friend.
I think what I resonated with most was the image of traveling across the desert, but knowing the oasis deep in your soul. I think it took me about 60 years in this culture to learn that happiness was not a function of circumstances, that it was an inside job, that happiness is something we choose to see, we choose to seek, we choose to share, And that oasis in our soul is a gift to us from life. And while the surface of life may expect many things from us, the oasis of soul just expects that we arrive and rest and receive the blessing that is there for us all the time.
I'm resonating with that my life is the greatest enterprise in the world. How complex an enterprise is, and how complex my life is, and how complex and how wonderful. It takes energy, it takes optimism, it takes persistence, and it's a unique enterprise. That's my thought.
Oh, I guess I am. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
So Kay's going to come around with the mic now, and of course it's fine to pass, but you'll each be invited to share something that you resonate with from these words from the Pope. You'll discover that being happy isn't having a perfect life. And for me, what came up, especially following Sandra's oasis, was the oasis that was within me and with the earth when I had my first cancer diagnosis. And it was Mother Earth that guided me into that oasis within myself to be totally blessed. I'm talking about the lake, the earth, the warm sand, the sky, and that was a big lesson because I tend to always see the beauty and joy especially when I'm challenged with the grief and the pain that either I or many others are suffering. So thank you.
Excuse me. I'm resonating with only you can stop it from failing. Because I think what you have to keep in mind when you read that line is that the stop it from failing doesn't depend only on you. It depends on you to be able to accept help and reach out for help when you need it too. It's not like you have to do it all by yourself.
Appreciate that.
I think the line, and when you make a mistake, start over, because only then you will be in love with life, resonated with me in a couple of ways. One, just recently working with people who are in prison and making me think of the enormity of that task for them, but also reflecting on my own life and at a pivotal point in my marriage when I felt like I made a big mistake and had to start over, and was fortunate to be in love with life and with my wife.
All right, please do.
Let me see. I think what I felt while I was listening was never give up on your friends. Never give up on your friends. Never give up on yourself. Never, ever give up on the universe.
So for myself, I think I would pick out, it's thanking, and it says here, thanking God for every morning for the miracle of life. But, I know it's Pope Francis, but I may interpret it slightly differently. Never thank the goddess, never thank the trees, never thank the universe. But every morning is a meditation.
What this reminded me and resonated was how I can so easily forget that everything I do is up to me, not that other places and beings in the world don't sometimes create limitations, but I set my own direction, and sometimes I forget that. And this brought that back to me. If I had to use one word, I'd say renewal.
Thank you. Hi. Oh. So, even though it's toward the end, I really resonate with the never giving up on being happy. And it's having the sense to say, I need you. And it's having the ability to say, I love you. Because I think both of those are really important. Yes, sure.
Well, I have a little to add to the comments that have been made, but I will say that as somebody who was raised in the Catholic faith, I'm so happy and proud, really, to have a Pope who is voicing such life-affirming thoughts and ideas and putting them out in the world. And of course, the fact that he chose the name Francis is very symbolic and represents his belief in our kinship with all the creatures that we share the earth with. That's very important to me. And I only wish that other elements of the Catholic religion, especially the American Conference of Bishops, had similar life-affirming philosophy. And so I'll stop there. Thanks.
So the line that spoke to me was, let me find her. Stop feeling like a victim and become the author of your own fate. I've been reading a book of Toltec wisdom. Toltec is a indigenous school of wisdom, and a lot of the book talked about how in every mind there is a victim and a judge that is filtering your experience, saying, poor me, oh, I didn't do good enough. And so this is echoing that of letting go of feeling like a victim and taking charge of things without judging yourself, just empowering yourself to be able to change your own life.
There's nobody on the line.
If anybody online, just raise your virtual hand or raise your hand and we'll call on you. Let's see. Yeah, click there. Click to the right to see other people in there.
There we go.
Okay, Emma, unmute yourself, please. Let's bring up the speaker. Having some time unmuting herself. Oh, here we go.
I finally got it. It's a little hard to do on my iPad. And I wish I was there with everybody to give everybody a hug. I thought that everybody's comments were just so beautiful. And what resonated to me the most was the lines, all the lines that related. This Pope was not taught, was so humble and encouraging us all to strip ourselves down to the simple joys of life instead of wanting something authoritarian or greedy or narcissistic or materialistic to happen in our lives. And that's what really struck me, is how all of his comments and everything everyone is saying today is about just our relationships, our with each other, and the simplest, most profound, and most joyful parts of living life today.
Thank you.
Let's see the gallery.
Mhm.
See if there's anybody else there. Oh, Gary, unmute yourself, please.
There we go. I could say, I will say, piggyback on everything everybody has already shared. And what came to me, I don't know if it's exactly directly related to what is said there, but over our Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving, somebody passed out some cards with some thought-provoking questions. And one of them, that the card that I ended up picking, said something along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing, what one thing would you have done differently to bring your life to where you want it to be? And I just looked at that and I was like, I can't think of anything. I think the thing of what, about being happy, about making choices, about making decisions, about how we respond and how we are in the world. For me, I could think of things I might have done differently because of an effect it might have had on me or somebody else, and I wouldn't change a thing, if that makes sense, because it has brought me to where I am now. So those things happen. We have regrets. We make mistakes. We have delights. We have joys. We celebrate. We mourn. And here we are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see, gallery.
Hey, Dan, I'll say something.
Okay, Caroline.
Good morning. I resonated with all the things that I heard. I didn't see the original list, but everything is so meaningful. Thank you for this list. And for the items that involve doing something differently with my mind, like letting go of the victim story and choosing to be the leader or the author of my life and my reactions. I'm grateful that I have found a way that is available to everyone, of course. There are neurological exercises one can do that actually help create the new neural pathways that we need to make those changes stick. And it's really exciting to find that they work. So I bring you that gratitude this morning. Thank you for this service.
Thank you. Anybody else online? Okay.
Okay, Miss Sandra, everybody shared. Oh, you want to?
Okay, let's close this part of our sharing with another hymn, number 128, For All That Is Our Life. We sing our thanks and praise for all things which we are called to use to build a common good and make our own days glad. we thank you, Anna, for a beautiful, beautiful rendition of that old favorite. It's time now for our joys and sorrows. If you have something that you'd like to share with us, either a joy that's enriching your life or something that's hard that you would like our support on the road, please. Are you going around? Kate's going to bring the mic around. Just raise your hand if you have something to share.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, and I have a concern for my sister and brother-in-law who are about to go through a difficult year. And another concern for our housemate Sheila, who has no place to go when we leave in January, except her car. She's known about this for months, but yeah, she still has no place to go. And yeah.
Yes, I have a sorrow for one of my friends, not very close friends, but one of the friends of Ro. She died recently. She was only 29 years old. She came to help the senior high camp along with a couple other staff. And in her legacy, what she was trying to do was always help as much as possible. She was a Pakistani immigrant as well. And so she would go around and try to spread that joy and good message and try to help others as much as possible. So hopefully we just keep her and her family in mind, and whatever happens, I guess, with that. Oh, we might, yes, 1 second. I heard a noise. Anybody on Zoom? Raise your hand, virtually or physically. Okay.
Let's go over here. Here's a whole. Right.
My name's Russ, and my joy is, and I didn't expect this, was hearing Ariel play Ashokan Farewell. And I don't think I've heard it played before, just solo and in the same room. And as I was listening, I tried to forget what I associated with and just listen to it as if I was hearing it for the very first time. And that felt like a gift.
Thanks, Russ.
I'm Annie. Great joy, I would have to say, for Thanksgiving and all the work that the people did in Stone Soup. The day before, I don't know how many meals they put out. And then the day after the cleanup, let's not forget the cleanup. I'm thinking about my brother today, my older brother, and his children. They're all adults now, that released my sister-in-law into the ocean by Anna Maria Island. She loved the water, swimming pool, or she'd be down the Cape when she was young. So God bless her to be released from that box or bag, whatever she was, or wherever they kept her. And I felt such joy there too, that she could finally be where she wanted to be.
And I'm Andrew Baker, and I just wanted to express a joy of thanks to you, Sandra, and your crew here for this gathering. And one closing thought that came from Emma Stamus talking about stripping down to the essentials, or the simplicity reminded me of where our current Pope drew his inspiration, and that the original Francis, when he dedicated himself to his religious life, famously in his grand gesture of the 1200s, stripped himself naked, handed back his clothing to his father, who was a cloth merchant, and entered into his life of poverty with that gesture. And that gesture has resonated down through 800 years, just showing the power of human communication in a time long before the printed word even became widespread, much less the internet.
I'd like you to light a candle of joy for a wonderful Thanksgiving that I had with my family in Montague. We had 35 friends and family gathered. And it's interesting. It was easy to sort of miss a lot of people that weren't there, that they, stayed in Eastern Mass, or they decided not to come because they were grumpy. So I missed them. But really, 35 was good enough, really. Anybody else?
Just join me in a moment of prayer. Spirit of community in which we share and find strength and common purpose. We turn our minds and hearts toward one another, seeking to hold in our hearts all our joys and sorrows, both spoken and unspoken. Let us open our minds and hearts to the place of quiet, to the silent prayer for the healing of pain and the soft, gentle coming of love. And now please join me in singing Prayer to Friends, which you find in the front of your hymnal. To this day I bring my life, born of hope, born of sin, yearning joy where now there's strife. All I have, all I am, help me to see what I see. Help me to be where I must be. Restless faith till all are free. Turn my life, turn my hand. And now may you journey forth into this last month of the year, crossing your deserts, following your winds and your currents and the birds. May you find the oasis deep in your soul that consoles you, that holds you, that guides you and blesses you every day of your life. May you know the words, I need you, I love you, and may they bless your journey. Amen. you all for coming.